So I'm sharing my screen. So just walk me through what we have discussed in the previous class. Anyone?
Account payment.
So we have discussed accounts payable. Okay, what in accounts payable?
We discussed P2P and P2
Right?
as a produce your payments and purchase your payment.
Correct. So we have discussed this P2P cycle
Yes, sir.
in accounts payable as well. We have discussed about payment days, how to configure payment days and how they work. Then we
Yes.
have discussed about cash discounts, how to
Cash
configure
discount.
cash discount codes, and I also showed you with the entries how it will
Yes, sir.
work. Okay. So any confusion in this?
Sir, middle points are advance payment and pre-after payments.
Prepayments. Okay. So, Shiva, it's nothing to get confused in this. Once after you creating a purchase order, before the vendor would deliver you any goods, you can make some advance payment for him, like 10% advance payment for him. Just if the vendor have a condition that you should pay 10% advance or 20% advance beforehand only before delivering the goods, then we pay advance payment. That's all. Okay. And today, let us discuss about a new concept. So, call as payment schedules. Shiva, could you please mute yourself? There's a lot of fan sound from your side. Thank you. So let us discuss this concept of payment schedule. So what is payment schedules, guys? Any idea what is a payment schedule?
Payment schedule on a particular date or like during a particular process or a
Okay, so
particular period.
okay. Assume that I have an invoice which I have to settle. I mean, I have vendor have created an invoice for the delivery of a goods or service. So it's for $10,000. I want to schedule payments on this. How can I schedule it? What are the different ways? I mean, normally, how can we schedule payments? Like in which way we can schedule?
It can be in the parts to be paid.
Okay, it can be in parts, like we can divide it like I'll pay in two installments, 50% in one installment or one schedule, and I'll pay another 50% in other schedule. So I can do it like this. Okay. Or we can decide on how many payments I can pay this $10,000. I will say like I'll pay in four payments, four equal payments I can say. Or four payments, four accordingly we will agree. So I will pay four in different ways, like 20%, 30%, then again 30%, then again 20%, total 100%. I'll pay in four installments. I can agree in that way. Another way I can also agree that every month I'll pay 1,000, or every month I'll pay fixed amount of 1,000 against this invoice, so that by completion of 10 months, 10,000 will be completed. The payment of 10,000 will be completed. So we see this concept of no cost EMI in when we buy any products from e-commerce websites, wherein the product price will be broken into six intervals or nine intervals, 3 months EMI, 6 months EMI, 9 months EMI schedules we have, right? So you can pay it accordingly. So it can be, I mean, it can be like the same amount every month, or it can be a different amounts every month, or it can be a declining method wherein for every 3 months the amount will get decreased, like for if you want to pay it for 9 months. So you can configure or design your payment schedules in whatever way you want, mostly. Or in business, normally there can be any kind of requirement or any way that your vendor might agree with you, or you might agree with the vendor to pay or settle the invoices against the vendors. Normally, this can be also applied against the customer invoices. So you might also agree with your customers. Like you can pay the amount in these many intervals. You on or before this day you pay, but you will take 5 intervals or pay the amount in these fixed amounts. So in that way, you can give lenience to your customers or can take benefit as schedules from your vendors. Okay. So in Dynamics, we can configure some schedules and apply them on invoices. So we can apply them, we can give them default to the vendors or customers, or we can also give them during the place when we were creating a transaction, like when we are creating an invoice. You can also apply a payment schedule once after posting the invoice as well. I mean, if the invoice is posted also, we can still apply the payment schedule. So there are different places where we can apply the payment schedule. But before that, we have to understand what kind of payment schedules we have in Dynamics or Dynamics supports and how each of them works. Okay, there are quite few methods, only 4 methods we have. So let's see all of them, how different they are and how differently they function. Okay, so clear, right? What is a payment schedule now, all of you? Any confusion?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Then we'll go ahead and see how we can configure the payment schedules in Dynamics. So in order to configure payment schedules, you have to go to accounts payable, the same menu that we were working yesterday, payments tab, and in that you have payment schedules. Accounts payable, payment setup, payment schedules. Write down the navigation, guys. Click on payment schedules. So it's empty here. We can create payment schedule. So I'll click on new here. So the method of the payment schedule depends on this 4. There are 4 methods in defining a payment schedule. Total method, fixed amount method, fixed quantity method, specified method. So we'll see how each of them will work. Okay. So I'll select this total method first. I'll give it as total. I'll write it as total payment. If I select total method, mostly I don't have any parameters. I mean, all of them are disabled. Okay, there are no chances that you can divide into schedules. It indicates that you are paying the total amount at a time, right? So there is an amount of invoice which is for 10,000. It means that you have to pay the total amount at a time. That's what it indicates, the total payment. That's all. There is no schedule for this. So here you can see these options enabled, actually maximum amount and minimum amount. The maximum amount and the minimum amount that you can pay in that you can define. I mean, you can also give some flexibility here. In this, I mean, the total amount can be paid in number of installments. Normally, if it is total means we don't have any installments, but you can define it as a flexible plan, wherein you can also give the lenience of 1 or 2 installments. Minimum number of installments 1 and maximum number of installments 2, I would say. But minimum is saying okay, it will anyway go off. So minimum should be, what it says is minimum should be more than maximum, less than maximum. Come on, let me remove this and add once again. Okay, right. Minimum should be 1 and maximum should be 2. So I'm giving some lenience. It's a flexible plan. Mostly you should pay in 1 installment, but there are chances that if you miss in paying 1 payment, you can make it in 2 payments. When I give flexible plan, then only this will be enabled. But I'm not giving such flexible plan. I want the total payment to be done to the vendor at a time or to be received from the customer at a time. If I use this total payment schedule at a time. Okay. So this is one. Here is that the maximum amount that you can receive on a total payment and the minimum amount that you can receive on a total payment. Here it's a single installment, right? So in a single schedule, how much is the maximum amount that you can receive, minimum amount that you can receive, you can define. No point of defining this actually. You can receive as much as you want if you don't define anything. But you define something like only $50,000. If the invoice amount or the total payment of on the invoice is exceeding 50,000, then system says that on this particular schedule only 50,000 is applicable. Then you might have to come back and edit this or increase this. Okay, totally depends. So I don't want this kind of maximum amounts. Mostly we will give this maximum and minimum amounts for schedules. If it is a total payment, we don't have any maximum and minimum. Normally, whatever the amount of invoice is there, you have to pay it. So this is how we can configure the total payment. There is nothing much to configure in this, only that you have to give the method as total and give the name as total. And you can apply this to the invoice, wherein indicating that that payment on the invoice should be done on a total basis. I mean, the total amount has to be paid at once. This is one method. Let's go for the other method. Okay, I have another method called fixed amount. Okay, I'll say like 5,000 fixed amount, which indicates that I'll pay 5,000 fixed amount all the time. So how this works, I'll tell you. Suppose that I'll go for this fixed amount. Okay, I have an invoice for $50,000. Invoice for $50,000. Okay, so I was saying that I'll pay on an installment, I'll pay 5,000. For every installment, I'll pay fixed amount of 5,000. So how many installments is again, I mean, how frequently you would pay again, that you have to configure. Like you will pay installments, okay, 5,000 per schedule you will pay. PS 5,000 per schedule you will pay on the for this 50,000 invoice. But how frequently you will pay? Like will you pay once in a month, like 5,000 in month, and you will pay 10 months, total 50,000 will be completed, right? Or you can pay weekly once, or you can pay monthly twice. Like for every month you will pay 10,000, and in 5 months the total 50,000 will be covered. Or you can pay 4 times in a month. So it all depend on how you will give this, but you will pay 5,000 per schedule. That's all. So you just give a name here for now. Here you can give the amount, how much you have to pay. I mean, here you will get the amount in transaction currency, wherein how much amount you have to pay. Here you can give. Okay, so I'm giving fixed amount. So payment per months or days or years. So according to your wish. So payment per months. So once in a month I'll pay. If I give 2 here, twice in a month, not for 2 months. Okay, it's twice in a month. If I give it here, change means twice in a month. So I'll give only one, means once in a month I'll pay. I think that would be the category. I mean, that would be the point about the change. 1 second. And
Are you okay?
kind of disturbance in my throat. Okay, I'm just having some water. Give me a second.
You better have some warm water. That would be fine, right?
I had it actually. There's some problem with me today. Feeling a lot stressed. Thanks for that. Okay, let's continue. So we have created this 500 fixed amount. So I have given the allocation method as fixed amount. So then I gave it as months. Coming to this change point, I think this is for change for every month, like once in a month. I was saying like once in a month I'll pay 500 fixed amount on the invoice. Suppose it is 50,000. So for every month I'll pay 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. Okay, I can divide that invoice into 10 parts, so that from the starting of the invoice date, for every month I'll pay 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. Means leaving the invoice date, and from the next month I'll pay 5,000, 5,000, 5,000 like that. Okay. Then I can give that amount here. Only if I give that amount here, that would be applicable. 5,000. Then this minimum is that the minimum installment that one minimum amount that an installment should hold. Suppose that if I am paying 50,000, like it will be 5,000, 5,000, and by 10 installments it will be completed. Suppose this amount is only 47,000. What now? So after paying 9 installments, what happens? The remaining amount is 3000, right? Sorry, 2000, right? After paying 9 installments, 45,000 will be done. 2000 will be there, right? So that 2000 will be accounted for the next period. I mean, the next schedule, it will be for 2000, even though the schedule is for 5000 fixed amount per month, but because the amount on the invoice is completed, like the 45,000 is done and only 3000 is remaining on the invoice, the final schedule will be having only 3000 of amount. Okay, got this point? Clear, guys? Any confusion in this point? Like if I have only 47,000 on the invoice, and if I'm paying installments like 5,000 per month, if I'm paying 5,000 per month, by 9 months 45,000 will be paid on the invoice. There only be 2,000 remaining on the invoice that has to be paid. For the last schedule, for the 10th schedule, that 2,000 will be accounted. Okay, so I can give here, I mean, in this field, I can give the minimum amount that can be there in the next or the last installment. Suppose that if I say like minimum amount should be 500. Okay, my invoice amount is like only 45,400. 45,400 is my invoice amount. Then what happens is, for the 8 installments, it will take 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. So totally 40,000 will be completed on the invoice payment against the invoice. 5,400 is there, right? Suppose if we divide 5,000, then the remaining amount will be 400 only. That 400 amount will now be less than 500 here. So what system will do is, system will not create one more schedule for that 400. It will insert that 400 into the last schedule itself. So it will design the last schedule as $5,400. Only if I give the condition of minimum amount in the last installment. So if I give that here, then system will automatically insert it here. I mean, if it is less than the minimum amount, it will insert into the previous schedule. 5,000 is there, right, per month. So 5,400 it will adjust. If it is more than, like if it is 6,000 around, more than 500, like the more than the minimum amount here, so system will automatically create a new schedule for that $600. So that the ninth schedule will be for $5,000 only, but the final schedule will be for $600. The remaining $600 on the invoice. So that's how this functionality works. This one. Clear, guys? Any confusion in this? It's a kind of complex to understand, but if I would apply it on invoices, it would be easy for you to understand too. But we might have to create few more setups to create invoices and apply this. So once we get to the point where we have to create invoices, I'll again explain how we can apply and how the invoice can be divided. Okay. Until then, just try to understand the logics of how it works. Then we have certain concepts here. It normally divides proportionally in this method, fixed amount method. What happens to sales tax allocation? So there might be within the invoice, if it is for 50,000, suppose I'll just erase it and show you 50,000. So in this 50,000, 5,000 is charges. Okay, 45,000 is the base amount, and sorry, 45,000 is the base amount, 5,000 is the tax amount. Suppose. So how you want to pay the tax? So how can you pay? If you want to pay the tax in the first installment itself, so or the first 5,000 that you pay is completely accounted as tax or payment against tax, or will you pay the tax proportionally? Like proportionally means you will get 10 installments, right? So you will pay 5,000 every month as an installment. So in that 4,000 will be accounted for base amount of the invoice and 1,000 will be accounted for the, or anyway, I mean proportionally it will be divided proportionally. So 5,000, I mean, out of which proportionally the invoice amount will be divided and the tax amount. The 5,000 that has to be paid will be divided equally between the 10 periods, like 500, 500, 500. I can say base amount will be 4,500 on the invoice and plus 500 tax. So every month the installment will be like this. I mean the tax that we pay will be accounted like this. 4,500 for the base invoice amount, 500 for the tax. In the same way, we will pay 10 installments and everything 50,000 will be completed. So tax will be there until the last period and the last schedule. So in this method fixed amount, we have only one option. The taxes or the charges that we have on the sales order, I mean purchase orders or sales orders will be proportionally allocated between the periods that we pay the installments. Got it, guys? Any confusion in this? Sales tax or the charges, the additional amount that we have on the invoice will be proportionally accounted, which means if there is a tax amount of 5,000, it will be proportionally for every period. If there are 4 periods, that 5,000 will be divided by 4. So tax will be paid as so. How many installments we have, in the proportionally taxes and charges will be allocated. We also have another way of allocation of these charges to pay it in the first installment itself completely, or to pay it in the last installment itself. Last installment, we have that option, but for this method, we don't have that option. We have the option for other methods actually. Okay, so that's how this 5,000 fixed amount works. Then we can give maximum quantity, maximum amount, and minimum amount here. So I would say maximum amount means maximum amount in an installment. So it's not logical to give actually. We said like 5,000 will be the maximum amount. Max 5,000 will be the fixed amount, right? Like for every month. So we'll pay 5,000 only. So that's one way of scheduling it. So every month you will pay 5,000 against that invoice until and unless, I mean, until the total amount on the invoice is settled. So that's the way we configure this. Then we can configure another method. So I would say fixed quantity method. Fixed quantity we can define like 3 months fixed quantity, I'll say. So what happens with 3 months fixed quantity? Let's see. Suppose that I have an invoice of I would say 15,000. Okay, I have an invoice of $15,000. Okay, if I am applying that fixed quantity method here, fixed quantity means you will feel like, I mean, I'll pay it totally in 4 schedules. I would say or 3 schedules. So I'll say I'll pay it in 3 schedules. Okay, 15,000 will be paid in 3 schedules. Okay. So how these 3 schedules will be divided? I'll say like monthly once. Monthly one I'll pay. So okay, now how you will pay monthly one? How much amount you will pay each month? So in this fixed quantity, how system will calculate is like the total amount divided by the number of schedules. So 15,000 divided by 3 schedules. Equally you will get every month, you will get equally. 15,000 divided by 3 means you will get 5,000 equally. 3 schedules you will pay monthly one 5,000, 5,000 and 5,000 and the invoice will be cleared. In the same way, for suppose if I have invoice for 20,000, okay, and I have 4 schedules now, which I would pay like monthly once. So what will be my payment for each month for each schedule?
5,000.
Correct, 5,000 per each schedule. Suppose if it is like 5 schedules,
4,000.
4,000 per each schedule. So it will equally divide according to the schedules that you would give or the frequency of schedules. It will be read here. I mean the frequency and the number of payments. But there won't be any amount here. Like fixed amount, you don't give any amount. See, this field is grayed out. Whatever is there on the invoice amount, it will be divided according to the number of schedules. So suppose if I would say payment per month. So for every 1 month I'll pay 1 payment. So how many number of payments it's asking here. So this I have defined monthly ones. Okay. How many schedules? 5 or 3 payments? How many payments you want? I'll say like 3 payments. I'll pay for 3 months. So that's what this is all important here. giving the month and number of payments. I'll say three payments, one for each month. Okay, then the amount on the invoice will be divided into three schedules equally. Fixed quantity, right? So it will be divided by 3 and you will get fixed quantity. Accordingly, 15,000 divided by 3, you will get 5,000 for each month. Suppose 20,000 is there, 20,000 divided by 3 will get. So if I would calculate that, you will get something around 20,000 divided by 3. So every month you will pay 6666.6. 6,666.67 you will pay every month. Exactly. So if it apply 3 schedules on the 20,000 invoice. So that's how this one works. Fixed quantity method. Okay. So this is one way. Then you can also pay it for every 2 months. Suppose if you select months and 2, and every 2 months you will pay, and you have to wait 6 months. For every 2 months there will be a payment, and you are paying 3 payments. So the payment will be for not for 1 month, it will be for every 2 months. Okay, suppose if I would say every 3 year means every quarterly I'll pay a payment. For 3 quarters I'll pay that payment. That invoice amount I'll pay once in one schedule in 1 quarter. I mean in the same way, other schedule in the next quarter, third schedule in the third quarter, coming quarters. I can pay like that. I can pay like that. Suppose if I want only once in month, I'll keep once in month. Suppose if I want to pay weekly payments, so I can say days and 7. For every 7 days I'll make a payment, and totally I'll make 3 payments, which means like in 21 days my invoice payment will be completed. Got the logic, guys? Any confusion in this? Understood? There is a lot of silence in you today. Okay, let me call by name. Saideep.
AP, can you repeat?
This one. Okay. So I was saying monthly once. Okay, monthly once I'm saying, and I'm saying 3 schedules, 3 payments, which means every month I'll pay 1 payment. So totally by 3 months, this invoice will be paid. So 15,000 invoice, every month I'll pay 5,000, 5,000 and 5,000. And totally by 3 months, this invoice will be settled completely. Okay. Suppose if I change it here as days and keep it as 1 only, then every day I have to pay a schedule. These 3 schedules I have to pay in 3 days. One day I have to pay 5,000, another day I have to pay 5,000, another day I have to pay 5,000. In 3 days it will be completed payment. Suppose I want to pay weekly, I'll change it as day and 7. So for every 7 days I'll make a payment. For every 1 week I'll pay 5,000, 5,000 and 5,000. And within 3 weeks the invoice payment will be completed, or the total amount on the invoice will be settled. So in the same manner you can give any schedules as you want. You can create one more for 5 months, like 5 months free fixed quantity. So the amount on the invoice will be divided with fixed quantity. So if it is 15,000 is divided by 3, you will get 5,000. So that 5,000, how you want to pay, monthly or weekly or quarterly, that you can decide here in these 3 boxes. Understood enough? Or again?
Yes, AP.
Okay, Sairam Shankar, are you in? I think he's not here in class today. Okay, Santosh.
Yes, bro, understood.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
perfect. Perfect then. If it is understood, then all okay. Then I have this method. Here you can see this one. The minimum is just like the same. If in the last installment, if there is a minimum amount, like the minimum amount should be 200. If it is something less than 200, I would say that would be adjusted to the other amount. But in fixed quantity, you won't get this option because the amount will be divided in fixed quantities, right? So it will be the same every month, right? You don't have any minimum like in fixed amount process. So let it be like that. Then you have this one. You have the option of paying the sales tax proportionally. Proportionally means along with the installments. Suppose within this 15,000, 10,000 is the original amount and 5,000 is the tax amount. System will proportionally pay it. I mean the 10,000 and 5,000 it will proportionally pay. So suppose if I would say proportionally payment means 15,000 is there, right? Within this 15,000, 10,000 is original amount. Okay, 10,000 is original amount. 5,000 is tax. Example, just for example. Okay. So if I was dividing it by 3 schedules, every month I have to pay 5,000. Correct. So in this 5,000, this 10,000 will be divided by 3 and 5,000 also will be divided by 3. So if I would divide 10,000 by 3, I'll get 10,000 divided by 3. So it's like 3,333.3 here for plus the tax amount again. So 5,000 divided by 3 will be the tax amount, like 1,666.7. In this way, I mean, the tax amount will be deducted every month. You'll pay the tax amount along with the original amount. So if I select the proportionally method, this one, suppose if I select first installment method, there is 5,000 tax, right? So in the first installment, you'll pay 5,000, right? The total tax will be selected here. I mean, it will be for total tax itself. The total 5,000 will be paid is for tax only. The remaining 10,000 original invoice amount you will pay in the next 2 installments, right? In the first installment itself, you are paying total 5,000. Total 5,000 is tax deducted, and the remaining 10,000 you will pay in the next 2 installments. However you pay, you have to pay total 15 in 3 installments. It's just that the indication that you are paying tax amount in the initial first. I mean, if you do proportionally, every month you will pay like this, like 3 times you will pay. Coming to first installment, if you select as tax, what happens is that in the first installment that you pay, tax amount will be deducted, and the remaining 10,000 that you have to pay will be the original amount on the invoice. So that you can keep it in that way, or else you can keep it in this way. Last installment. What happens with last installment? Sales tax allocation. If I say it last installment, idea.
Tax will be deducted in the last payment schedule.
Installment. Correct. So we have 3 installments, right? Every installment we have 5,000, 5,000, 5,000. So the tax will be accounted, or the tax payment will be considered for the last installment. For the first 2 installments we pay, it is the original amount, 10,000. Okay. In the last installment we'll pay 5,000. So that will be accounted as tax.
Can you explain this once again, Jerry, please, this one?
This one, tax proportionally and first installment, second, last installment methods. Okay, so I would say it again. Suppose we have an invoice of $15,000, out of which $10,000 is for your products, original amount. Upon this 10,000, there is a tax of 5,000. So take the invoice amount of 15,000. So we have to pay the vendor 15,000 along with the original amount plus tax charge on the invoice. So Bala, I want acknowledgement from you. Is it clear until here?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. This is how system want to account the tax that we are paying on these particular schedules. So we are paying it in 3 schedules, like 5,000 for each schedule. So we have 10,000 here and 5,000 here in the tax. So how system want to, we are paying 5,000, right? So in this 5,000, how system want to take the tax? How the original amount has to be calculated, how tax has to be accounted. So normally system won't divide this all, but just for the consideration sake or to understand, that just to have a kind of agreement that the amount that I have paid, the 5,000 that I have paid in the first installment, some of the amount will be for original amount and the remaining amount is for tax amount, just like that. So if I would say proportionally here, if I would say proportionally, tax will be deducted proportionally in every installment. Like in the first installment, 3,333.3 will be the original amount and the remaining amount will be the tax amount. In the same way, in every installment, you will have the same pattern. Second installment also you will have the same pattern. Third installment also you'll have the same pattern. Totally 15,000 will be paid. So this is when you select the proportionally method. Is it clear until here?
Yeah.
Bala. Bala, I want acknowledgement from you as well. Is it
Yes.
clear until here? Okay. So suppose if I would say first installment here, system would normally, we would normally pay 5,000, 5,000, 5,000, right? So 5,000 tax has to be paid. So in the first installment itself, we pay 5,000, right? So total tax will be accounted in the first installment itself. 5,000 will be 5,000 that we pay in the first installment will be considered as the amount against tax. Okay, the remaining 10,000 will anyway pay in the next two installments, which is for against the original product amount. Against the original product amount that we have other than tax. So tax is already paid in the first installment. So that's how we can consider. The last installment concept means the first two installments will pay this 10,000 of the original amount of the product. In the last installment will pay the tax of 5,000. Okay, in any process method you follow, you will normally pay 15,000 only. But just that for consideration sake only, we'll have this kind of process. Either you have to pay it in proportionally or first installment or last installment. Okay. Clear, guys? Any confusion again on this part?
So
Yeah, now clear.
in real time, what kind of allocation is usually followed? Is it last
They'll-
or first or like all together?
Depends on the vendor requirement, on the country rules. So mostly they'll collect tax first because vendor have to settle the tax to the authority, right? So that is where they collect tax first, or they can go with proportionally method. If it is a short period of schedules, they can go for proportionally method. If it is long schedules like yearly schedules, we have you pay one schedule in this year, second schedule in next year, third schedule next year, then you have to pay the tax first because vendor have to settle the tax with the authority in that year, right? Got the logic?
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
yet. Okay. So that's the way we can use this. I mean, here we have charges allocation. There can be charges on purchase orders or sales orders. So how that charges has to be accounted or how that charge amounts has to be deducted, you can give it the same process again. There is 15,000 on the invoice, which is 10,000 is original amount, 5,000 is tax, and there is also another amount. Like if it is, I would say like it is 16,000, and there is a 1,000 charge. So how this 1,000 charges has to be accounted or has to be deducted in the payment amount. So you can define in system just like in the same way you will get another 1,000 means you will get another 330. Sorry, I would say like this one 333.3 you would get like this or 34 something like this. If it is proportional, if it is in first installment means again it will be adjusted like the 5,000 and the 1,000. I mean within the first installment how much ever it can adjust, it will adjust. If you want it in the first installment means not entirely will be selected, but whatever will be the first installment amount, in that only the taxes and charges will be adjusted, and the remaining tax and charges will be adjusted in the next installment like that. So no, mostly they'll keep this proportionally only because they have schedules within a year. They don't go for yearly schedules. Not most of them will go for yearly schedules. So I'm just changing it for a monthly schedule and three payments, which means for 3 months. Then you can also have a flexible plan like this, minimum number of installments. Like I would say you can either pay in 2 installments also. Sorry, first I have to give this one. All the time I have to give the maximum number of installments. I can give 4 and 2. We normally agreed for 3 payments, right? So I also gave a flexibility that you can either pay it in 2 payments rather than in 3 payments, or else you can also pay it in 4 payments. This kind of flexibility if we have on the plan means we can use this option. If not, there is no need of using this option. And if you disable this, there is no flexibility. So that's about this fixed quantity. You can define in any way, like 3 weeks fixed quantity you can say, and you can keep days and 7, and you can keep number of payments as 3. You can keep 5 month fixed quantity. You can say month and 1, and you can keep 5 payments here. You can keep 6 months fixed quantity. Month 6, month 1 and 6 you can keep, or you can keep 6 months 3 installments, wherein you can keep month and 2 and 3, so that you will pay in 3 months. Sorry, 6 months for every 2 months you will pay one installment. That's how it is. Clear, guys? You can use it in any way you want. I mean, according to, I mean, you can schedule it as per your wish here. With these 3 boxes will help you to do so. And how this can be applied, I'll show you again. So other than these 3, we have one more method, which is specified method. Specified means it's your wish. You can specify it in any way you want. I'll say like 5 month specific. Okay. 5 month specific. I'm selecting the method as specified here, as you can see, and I'm giving it as months, which means every month I'll give. So in this method, you normally pay in 5,000 fixed amount method, you normally pay 5,000 every month. In this fixed quantity method, it will divide the amount on the invoice according to the number of periods or number of payment schedules we have, right? But here you can give your own own schedules. I mean, 5 months specific I gave, right? Here this will be enabled. This will be enabled only when we have specified method selected here. So here I can give 5 months. So first period I can say like I'll pay 30% in the first period. So in the second period I'll pay 25%. In the third period I'll pay 20%. Okay, coming to the fourth period, I'll pay 15%. So how much it is now? 50 and 40, 90. So in the fifth period, I'll pay remaining 10%. Save it, refresh this, and it will be in order now. So this is how I can schedule accordingly. So here I can specify whatever the percentages I can pay for each period. So if I apply this on an invoice of $10,000 for suppose, on the $10,000 invoice, I'll pay 30%, which means 3,000 in the first installment, 2,500 in the second installment, 20,000 in the third installment, 15,000 in the fourth installment, 10,000 in the fifth installment. It's not that you might need to have them in the descending order. You can keep in any order. You can keep in ascending order. You can keep different also. Here you can keep 30, 25. Again you can keep 30. Your wish. Or you can also give amounts normally. But if I give amounts means the invoice amount should be or to the total of the amount. If I give percentage means how much ever the invoice amount will be, according to the percentages, the value will be calculated for the schedule. Okay, so this is how we can define a specified method. You can also give some notes here if you wish to give any notes. So if on any invoice, if I would apply this, so it will be taken on here. I gave month, right? So for every month here, for first month I'll pay 30, second month 25, third month 20, 15 and 10. If I give day here means days means for every day this is. And if I give years means for every year. You don't have the flexibility of this 2 months, 3 months like that. Okay, you can give months here. Suppose if you want to hold the second month, in second month you can give 0%. No payment for second month. In the third payment you can give 45%. And in the fourth month there is no payment once again. And in the fifth month there is a remaining payment like 30, 45, 75, and there is a 25. Like this you can give. It's all up to you. You can specify any percentages as you wish. Okay. Again, change it back to our normal percentages 25. Okay, it's exceeding more than 100, so that's why it's throwing an error. Let's go with 0 first. Also 0 here. Also 0 here. Now I'll go for 25. Not 250, 25. And 20 and 15 and 10. Right. Save it. So this is another way I can use it. Clear, guys? This one, understanding this is also important. If you are clear in this, I mean, we can proceed with the next configuration in our class.
JP?
Yeah,
Yes.
got the tax part and charge part.
It's the same. The same way, if you say proportionally means, so accordingly 30% will be deducted from the tax, 25% from the tax amount, 20% from the tax amount will be paid. I mean, according to the percentage value here. So there we are using fixed means it will divide, it will go with the fixed amount. Suppose if I say like first installment means if the first installment is 3000, right? Out of on the total invoice, if the tax is only 500, suppose on the 10,000 invoice tax is only 500, that 5,000 will be deducted in that 3,000 itself, in the initial installment itself. I mean here if I would select it as first installment. Okay, got it, Susila? Excuse me.
Yeah, somewhat.
Okay.
Can you please explain this in a yeah with amounts?
So 10,000 is my original amount of invoice, and which out of which 500 is my tax. Okay. So if I'm paying it in proportional way, suppose if I choose the proportional method, what happens is in the first installment 30%, right? So 30% on 10,000 will be 3,000. Okay. Plus we also have tax. I mean, it's the total amount of invoice now is 10,500. I would say 10,500. So for 30% on the 500 amount. So I would say like
150.
500 divided by 30. Sorry, why I'm giving this 500 into 30%. So okay, well, how much it is?
It's 150.
115 or 150.
150.
Correct. So this is how I pay. So now if I would calculate like on 10,500 of invoice, total amount of invoice, I mean, where is this into symbol? Into 30%. I got this one. 10,500 into 30. I mean divided by 100. I'll go it like this. 3,150. You go right. 3,150 is clear here. Out of which 3,000 is for the original invoice amount. 150 is for the tax amount. Okay. If I would say 7,000 is pending on the original invoice amount and 350 will be pending on the tax amount. So in the next installment, again for 25%, right? So 25% calculation will be done here. On the 10,000, 25% will be paid. On the 500, 25% will be paid. If I use proportional method, this is how the calculation will be. If I use first installment means, so in the first installment itself, suppose if we are paying 3,150, right? In the first installment, out of this 3,150, 500 will be deducted as tax. 500 will be accounted in the within this 3,150, and the remaining amount will be for original amount of product. If I say last installment means whatever is there in the last installment, suppose last installment is 10%. 10% on 10,000 means it's 1,000, right? So within 1,000, 500 will be the tax, 500 will be the original amount of invoice, and all the amount that I paid previous to this 1,000 will also be totally for the original amount of invoice. The tax will be deducted in the last installment, or tax will be considered to be paid in the last installment. That's the process. Clear enough?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that would be all about this, and you can configure in any way you want. If you want six months mechanism, you can configure 6 months here. Like 6 months specific you want, you can create one more, and you can give 6 schedules as you wish.
JP?
Sadeep, yes.
In the specific method, we don't have to mention number of installments and change.
No. You said right. You gave months here, so it will calculate for every month. How many months you give here? That many months. That's all. 5 months you gave, right? So 5 months. 5 installments.
We don't have to mention any value in the number of installments and change.
No need. So if you give 5 here, it means 5 schedules, one for each month.
Okay, JP. Thank you.
That would be all, guys. I mean, what will be the next topic in the course actually? Terms of payments, I think so, but I'm feeling little difficulty with my throat today. So let's just post.
don't strain, Japrakash.
Okay. We'll see these terms of payment and methods of payment tomorrow. Okay. These two concepts we'll try to try to discuss tomorrow. Wish that my throat gets settled by tomorrow. Okay. I think that would be all for today. Just try to create the schedules and try to understand the logic. That's all. I mean, you also have that theoretical part actually in the. You might get a theoretical part if you would feel to check like payment schedules Dynamics 365. So you have this one written by Saurabh Bharti, maybe it's one of the famous consultant, Saurabh Bharti. If you have LinkedIn, you can follow him, Saurabh Bharti. It's a very good consultant. He have explained something in this, theoretical way. You can also read this, go through it, in case it might add some more points to you. Here we go. Other than that, you also have a Microsoft original documentation actually. So this is also a community page, which is authorized by Microsoft only, as you can see. And we also have this one, docs.microsoft.com, set up payment schedules and orders. Generally how you can apply it on orders, but how to configure payment schedules, I think you have to search a little more to identify in the docs. Okay. Fine, then we'll meet in tomorrow's class and with some little more energy. Try to complete those two topics as well. Okay. Bye guys. Have a nice day. Sorry. Good night. Nice day for tomorrow maybe.